I am sorry, I'm not sure what happened. OBS just decided to stop streaming suddenly. I'm not sure what exactly is happening, to be honest. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, that seems to be working better at the moment. Yeah, hopefully this doesn't happen again. Yep, we'll carry on from here. So yeah, as we said, we're now formatting everything, and the cursor is basically calculated properly. So if we do this and we add this, it ends up being formatted, and this is now two different span elements just set into each other. If we check here, we'll actually see that this is the case, and we have a white space character in here. And yeah, everything is working as we expected, basically. And believe it or not, this is mostly it. Like, there's literally not a lot more that we need to do. There are just a couple of things that small basically things that we need to address, specific behavior and specific bugs that show up because of basically what we're doing. It's actually one thing that we need to do, which so sometimes what ends up happening is let's say we delete that. As you can see, something weird happened here, and the reason why this happens is because the way we're doing the formatting is based on the fact that the start container that we have here, which is the current node, is actually it's based on the assumption that it's actually a text node. However, if it's not a text node, then things are going to behave in a bit of a weird way, because what ends up happening, like sometimes, like if I do this let's just recreate everything from scratch and do hello am Said, and then do this, and as you can see, the reason why this happened is, and I'll show you that in the debugger, basically hello am Said 2, and let's do this, and I think it's, yeah, it will happen basically once we delete the space, which is the last character in the text node. So before, let's set just a breakpoint in here, and let's actually, before that, let's do something, and let's say if I do that, and then when we do next node would actually be a text node, which in this case is the text node that contains the space and the character T. However, if we resume and basically come here and delete that one, let's actually deactivate the breakpoint for now. Come on. Yeah, here we go. Delete this one, reactivate it. If I now delete that text node, and that the space character, which basically deletes the last text node that we have, if I look now at node, you'll find that it's actually grabbing the parent paragraph rather than any of the nodes, because the actual start container was deleted, so it doesn't know what to do. So instead of grabbing any one of the surrounding nodes, it just grabs the parent basically, and that is what leads to this weird issue that if I now resume, it literally deleted the span element that we've had, which we didn't want to delete it. And if you can see, it actually added the text, the word hello, directly inside the div, which again, this is not something that should happen. The text should always be inside a paragraph element. So what we're going to do now is checking basically to make sure that this doesn't happen. So we're going to add something in here just before we start actually doing everything that we did for the formatting. We will just do basically code that handles a special case, which in this case, if node tag name equal p, then let me just check something, because I think this only happens when the text node is the last text node. I don't need the breakpoint anymore. Delete it. Come on. Hello. So if we do this, oh no, it does happen as well. Let me check. Okay. I think what I have in the offline version probably still has a bug in it. but I'll try it for now and we'll see. So basically what we'll do, we'll grab the last child of oh no, wait. So yeah, no, what I'm doing actually, sorry, I thought I'm grabbing the actual last child of the paragraph, but I'm actually grabbing the last child before the offset, because in this case the offset would be calculated according to the paragraph. So let's make that clear before offset. So we'll do node child nodes, then the index will be offset -1, and then we'll convert that to elements so we can use it in the to set the range. Then we'll check to see if last child before offset is not null, and in this case we'll basically set the node to last child before offset. Then we'll do another check in this case, which we need to make to see if node is not a text node, which means it's a span element, then we actually want to grab the text node basically. So we'll do node.firstChild again as element so we can actually use it. Then basically dot length again, and this is done to just please TypeScript, the compiler. We will basically set the offset to the length of offset dot length, and then we would actually set the start to node and offset. So basically what we're doing here is we're grabbing the last child null before the offset that is given to us by the range. If it exists, then we set the node to that one, and if it is not a text node, then then it would mean that in this case it's a span element, so we grab the text node, the first child of that span element, which in this case would be a text node, and then we would set the offset to the length and set the start. This would address most of the issues that we have, but it will still basically have a small problem that I'll show it to you once we finish actually rebuilding the component. So now if we come here and do this hello am side 2 and I delete that, everything's fine, nothing's deleted from React. And if I come here and start deleting all of that, again nothing's deleted, everything's working fine. However, the problem will happen if we do this and do that and start erasing. In this case it doesn't happen. Maybe it happens when I have something like that. Yeah, see, we get an error here because basically we're not handling the case where the paragraph is empty, it doesn't have any children before that offset. So we'll handle this case in here, and we'll do else range dot set start. We'll set it to the paragraph itself, because in this case we don't have anything, and we'll set it to the beginning of the paragraph, and then we'll return, because there are no text node. And as I said, all of this is based on the fact that the start container that we grab here is a text node. So since this is not a text node, the start container is actually just a paragraph, then we just exit, because there's nothing to format anyway. So let's actually pre-build that in this case, and we'll see how, because now I'm thinking of it like I need to make sure that it actually works properly. If there are still like elements after the offset. So as you remember, like we're grabbing the last child before the offset. So what happens if there are things like after the offset but not before? What would happen? This is what we need to check. Let's refresh just in case, and let's type something here, and then let's say that we want to inside to yes. Let's say we've selected all of that. Okay, seems to be working fine. Okay. Yeah, that seems to be working fine generally. So we've handled that case. I'll just copy the comments I have so I remember what everything does basically. So we'll come here and just paste that. Come here and paste that. And again, as I said, like we're going to be refactoring and cleaning all of that and splitting it, so it's not this huge mess of text and stuff. Like there will be ways to actually make this clean and make it look slightly better and more organized, but we just need to make sure that everything is working first before we actually think about refactoring anything in here. So basically that's it. Like really that's it for the input, except there's one case that we haven't actually handled yet, which is inserting a paragraph if the user presses enter. Basically the code that we have right now will handle everything except pressing enter, really. So that's what we need to do next, and the reason why what we have is not going to work, is that I'll show you what actually ends up happening. So here's what will happen if we just only use the code that we have right now. So hello from AM side to React.js. If I click enter now, that's fine, it works, everything seems to be working fine. However, if let's say I do this, let's say I press, like I park the cursor within that last formatted element and I press enter, as you can see, okay, wait a second, this is not working properly. Why is this not being formatted? It's because we haven't actually handled that case. Okay, why are we not handling it? Like, why are we saying here that input type has to be anything but inserting paragraph? Let's see what actually happens if we just, if we handle the formatting for everything. Then you'll see that some things would actually not work properly. So let's just wait until the component rebuilds and I'll show you what ends up happening. Yeah, we're done. So let's see, let's actually just hello from site to React.js. Again, as I said, like if we just press enter at the end of a paragraph, it's fine. Or if we do this, oh, wait a second, it actually seemed to be working. Am I missing something? Am I missing something? I think I know what is happening. Okay, let me show you. At least I believe I know what is happening. To React.js. Okay, now, because as we know, like if we have two user mentions, for instance, next to each other, none of them is going to be formatted. That's what we've identified that the tweet actually input does and all of that. So yeah, when we press enter now, this should be formatted and this should be formatted, but see what happens. Only this gets formatted because what we're doing, the way we're doing it, which actually checks the current node and the adjacent nodes, we only do that within a single paragraph, but we don't do it across multiple paragraphs. There might be a way to do it, but rather than complicate things, I basically handled the enter key slightly differently, and what I end up doing is just I end up taking both paragraphs and just reformatting them all over again, just to make sure that everything's fine and we don't need to bother with anything. So here's how we're going to do it. Let's first add that back, and we're going to go at the end here and do else. So basically, when the user presses enter, we need to do something like a different thing basically than what we do for regular input. And to do that, we will need to create another function basically, which we will use sort of another helper function. It basically prepares the paragraph for formatting, and what it does, it selects everything in the paragraph, converts it into an unformatted text, deletes it, and removes any children in there, and then just creates a text node with the text that we've added, and then return that text node so we can use it to actually format. So that's what we're going to do now, and we create it here. Function prep paragraph for formatting, or for reformatting actually, and it will take a range, which again of type range, paragraph, which is an element, and in this case it will return a text node, which is in TypeScript we just call it text. So what will happen is range.select node content paragraph, then we'll convert that into just non-formatted text like we did before using the toString function, and then we'll delete the contents of the range, and then while paragraph.firstChild, if there are any nodes left behind, because as I said, like the delete contents sometimes can leave some nodes behind, so just in case, paragraph.remove child, paragraph.firstChild, and then we will create a text node equal document.create text node with the text that we've had, and then what we'll do is paragraph append child, we'll just add the text node, and we will return text node. However, there's a small issue here, like what if the paragraph actually did not have any text? In this case the text would be empty and the length would be 0. I think on Firefox it would be fine, there wouldn't be any issue, but on Chrome it would actually it would be a problem, because the paragraph would be empty. And actually let me show you what will happen. Let's see. Yeah, I won't be able to demonstrate it without actually writing the rest of the code, I think. So yeah, in this case, let's just, yeah, I'll add this. It's nothing too complex. Basically, we need to check if the length of the text is 0, we would just add a line break element just to be safe. As I said, it works, I think, with like, you don't need to do that with Firefox, I think, but you need to do it with Chrome. But we'll do it for both of them, and it works fine. So here's what we're going to do. Let's just then paragraph dot append child document dot create element here, and we just copy this in here, and we'll also add this one in here. So prep paragraph for reformatting. So we are actually exporting it from here, and then we need to come back here and then start actually working on what we're going to do next. So again, we'll grab the selection document.get selection, then basically what is going to happen here, if the user presses enter when they're at the end of the paragraph, then the range.start container would be something, but if they press enter while in the middle of the text, like, let's actually show you that. If selection then const range equals selection get range at 0, and then console.log range dot start container. So let's show you what exactly ends up happening when we do that. The start container would be different basically depending on where actually the user pressed enter. So let's just wait for it to rebuild the component. So if we come here now and do this, hello from website to React, check here the console basically, or let me just bring up the console. If I do that, basically the start container is actually the paragraph immediately. However, if we come in here, for instance, and just do that, then you'd see that actually, wait a second, the start container in this case is different. It's actually a text node. So what we need to do is we actually need the paragraph. So we need to check what the start container is. If it's a paragraph, then it's fine. Otherwise, we have to basically get the paragraph from the start container. So that's what we're going to do in this case. If range, then we're going to do let current paragraph. It's going to be either an element undefined, then if range dot start container dot node type equal 3. If it's a text node, then we'll have to do something else. If range dot start container as element dot tag name equal p, then current paragraph will equal range.start container. Again, we need to convert it to an element. Then what we need to do here is we need to check basically the parent of the text node. If it's a paragraph, then the current paragraph would be just the parent. If it's something else, which in this case would be a span, then we will have to go 2 levels up basically. So we will need to get the parent. Const parent element would be range.start container.parent element. Then we need to make sure that it's not null. If the element, then if parent element dot tag name equal p, then we need to set the current paragraph equal parent element, else in this case parent element would probably be the span, because that's again what we're doing. So we need to check that the span has a parent, which definitely it will, but again just pleasing TypeScript. So current paragraph would be parent element dot parent element. Yeah, now we have the current paragraph, so we need to grab basically the previous paragraph, which in this case would be current paragraph dot previous element sibling. Then here's what we're going to do. This is going to be very simple. So if previous paragraph, then what we'll end up doing is we need to basically prep the paragraph. So we need to delete everything and convert it into an unformatted text and get that text back. So that's what we need to do. Const text node dot handlers dot prep paragraph for reformatting. It needs the range and needs the previous paragraph. Why does it need the range? Actually, remind me, because I can't remember what we're doing with the range. Oh yeah, we're deleting basically, and yeah, that's fine. So we prep it and do everything, and then we will just go here if pattern, just making sure that the pattern is defined. Then we'll just format. We'll pass the range, text node that will be formatted, and the pattern, and in this case we will pass the paragraph itself as the final node. So it would actually, once it finishes formatting it will set the cursor to the previous paragraph, which is, it will be a bit weird, but we need to make sure that like this is what we're setting the node to. We don't need it, like we could have just ignored it, but yeah, we were just passing it for now. Eventually, because we're formatting 2 paragraphs anyway, what will end up that the cursor eventually will be parked at the beginning of the current paragraph anyway, because the user pressed enter and we need the cursor to end there. So yeah, we don't really need to pass the previous paragraph here, but yeah, why not? It's not gonna make much difference anyway. Then we need to do this const text node equal document, not document, sorry, handlers dot prep paragraph for formatting. Again, passing the range and passing the current paragraph, and then if pattern then we need to do handlers dot format range text node pattern and then current paragraph. And yeah, we do that, and now everything should be working properly once it actually finishes rebuilding the component. So yeah, we're done. If we go now here, hello from site to React and JavaScript. Yeah, just type anything. If you remember when we tried that before, it was formatting just JavaScript. Like if we do that, nothing happens, it works. If we come here and do this, as you can see now, both of them are formatted, which is the correct behavior that we expect from it. And yeah, that works. There's just one line, like one extra line of code that we need to add here, which is to normalize basically the editor. What normalize does is that if there are basically text nodes that are sitting immediately next to each other but they are not joined, it joins them. It basically cleans the editor so that it works properly, and everything is actually as we expect it. So we'll add this one here. So we're going to do that whether the input is a normal input or a new paragraph input, it doesn't matter. We'll just do editor ref dot current dot normalize. That's all we need to do really. I'll just copy the comments that I had in here so I remember what everything is actually doing. So we'll do this and paste in here, and then we need this as well. Because as I said, like when I go back to it, I'll need to remember everything so I can refactor things properly and clean everything up. Okay, yeah, and now everything is actually working. Just fixing something here quickly. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and yeah, as I said, like now everything is actually working. If we zoom out a little bit, because this text is way too big for my liking, really. Yeah, everything should be working. Let's just rebuild, make sure that like we have everything properly set up, and then I'll actually run the tests on the component that we have right now, and we should actually be passing all the tests now in the stream component, as we did basically with the offline component. We're still, yeah, we're done now. So if I now run yarn test and just run all the tests on Google Chrome, they should all pass. It will take a little bit, it will take a couple of minutes, but all of them should pass now. So yeah, as you can see, up until now everything is passing. This is the bit that will take a little bit, this is the part that will take a little bit of time to actually finish, but once we're done through this, once we're done testing this, like running these tests in that file, yeah, everything would actually be passing as we expect it to, really. So yeah, give it a minute or so, and I'm not gonna run it for any of the other browsers. It should be fine. I've ran the tests for the other browsers already, just to make sure, and as I said, basically everything is actually passing and working fine, except for Safari and Apple browsers, like basically Apple browsers on Apple devices, really, whether it's iOS or macOS devices. But yeah, as you can see, all of them are passing. We were running 141 tests, and 141 tests passed, and it took 2 minutes. and it's telling us that there are actually two files that are slightly slow. One of them took 16 seconds to finish, the other, which is this one, actually took 1 minute, so half of our time actually was spent on that file alone. So there might be worth maybe splitting that, but I'll leave that for like a different time. It's not urgent right now to actually split that file. But yeah, this is really what I have had planned for today. As I said, there are probably other things that might have slipped here and there. I need to actually check that. Actually, I remembered something. I need to see what happens if in here let me just check this quickly. Editor ref.current.normalize. I want to see if normalizing the editor here would actually create a problem or not. So, because I have a feeling that we might need to normalize, but I also think that normalizing might be a problem. So let me see. Okay, yeah, I'm ready. And usually the problem was happening, showing up. Oh, okay. So doesn't seem to be an issue. Okay, what if we editor ref.current and let's disable it for now. It should be fine, I think. Okay, yeah, that is now running. If I do, come on. Okay, doesn't seem to be creating any issues really. So yeah, I think it should be fine to actually normalize, so I'll keep it as it is, because I prefer normalizing. If normalizing isn't creating any issues for me, then yeah, that's actually, yeah, let me actually instead do it inside of here. So I only normalize if I handle the space, rather than normalizing. Yeah, I'll do it here. I'm not gonna run normalize in general. I only normalize if I do the space. as we'll already be normalizing at the end of the input event anyway, but in this case because we're preventing, so it might be worth normalizing. And I'll refresh and google.com and then https google.com. Yeah, seems to be fine. To make sure, because I'll actually run that, I'll only run the URL test because that's where, and I'll run it on the Firefox. So tests index URL formatting, and then I'm going to run all of them except the non-word. Test index URL formatting relations. All of these should pass. Okay, yeah, that is the one that I was actually concerned about. This is the one that was causing some issues. Seems to be fine even now that we're normalizing, so okay, yeah, that's all right. Not sure why these tests seem to be slow at the moment. They were running fine for Google Chrome, but yeah, as long as they're all passing, I have no issue with them being a little bit slow. We can figure that out later, basically. But yeah, that is basically what I have for now. There's still a couple of things that one main thing that we're not handling at the moment is copying, pasting content into the editor. We're going to handle that. As I said, there might be some bugs that I haven't discovered yet. I'll probably keep playing around with this, with the text area, and if I find any bugs, then we can fix them. And lastly, of course, we need to do some refactoring and cleanup, and then we'll probably move into integrating the component into my app, which is actually the main reason why I built this component, is because I'm going to use it in my own app, and integrating it into the app would actually reveal some things that that we actually will need to do, like as I said, how to allow the user to actually pass some styles, or define their own class and pass it to the component. I'll probably need a way to also get the cursor position from the component, but I am not 100% sure. I'll have to see, because when I was using like the normal HTML text area, I was actually using the cursor position to handle some things related to emojis and things like that, but not sure if I'm going to need that or not in this case. We'll see when we actually start integrating the component into the app. But yeah, we need to finalize it first and get to the point where we actually publish it to npm. Probably will be not the next stream, but maybe the one after. we'll see how we progress. If there are no any more bugs, then I think we should be probably within 2 streams. We should be just finalizing and publishing the initial version of the component to npm, and then we can add other stuff to it. But yeah, as I said, like the cleanup basically is gonna be a bit of an important task. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Thank you for joining me tonight on this stream, and yeah, I'll let you know when I'm streaming next, hopefully tomorrow or the day after, something like that. But yeah, I'll catch up with you later, and hopefully we can get this component done, so we can move on to other things. Yeah, bye. Yeah, have a good night.